What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I'm still coming at you from Bakersfield, California. About to run over here and drop this load off right quick. And I want to talk to you guys about a video and a message that I got yesterday. And the video I'm talking about, some of you guys have seen it. It's the video the Drivers Lineup posted where they were talking about some of their challenges that they're going through in the trucking market and then just life in general. That was a pretty tough video, and I got a message from somebody that's going to be coming into a lease at Prime and asking me kind of what my thoughts were on it. Now, a lot of times I talk about things outside of the trucking industry as far as, you know, have some money set aside, keep your debt load low, things like that. In this video, I wanted to just talk about things within trucking that you can do maybe to make it through this market if it becomes a little bit challenging. Gone are the days when you were just able to just kind of run the way you wanted to run and really not pay attention to things. Now might be a time when you need to sharpen up your tool and you know, really dig down deep and really try to maximize everything that you can. You know, I was listening to somebody that was saying if a load can't get there just taking 10-hour breaks, then that's not a good load. And I'm going to tell you, now might be a time to kind of lean away from that. You know, I think the people that are going to kind of be able to make it through this, and most people aren't going through, you know, owning more than one truck challenges. So as a single driver, some of the things that you might want to consider: understand your logs a lot better. Understanding your logs, I think, could have a lot to do with how profitable you are. Because there's just some people that have no clear understanding on how to run their logs. And I've always said, logs is the money. So if you're not familiar with how to, you know, how to do splits and all these different kind of things, it might be time to start taking that stuff a little bit more serious. On some of these loads where you might have like an extra 16, 24 hours, might be time to call up that receiver, ask them if you can get that unloaded faster or a day early or whatever the situation is. If you're driving a Freightliner and you're usually ripping and running, and I say that by Prime standards, you know, 63, 65 miles an hour. I know on a Freightliner you might want to tone that down to 55 to 58 miles an hour to maximize your fuel economy. If you're in a Peterbilt, you might want to tone that down to 60, 62. That's the sweet spot on a Peterbilt. You know, maybe those loads that you were maybe thinking about turning down, maybe it's time to like reconsider and start taking some of those loads. And I'm not talking about loads that are going to put you in a worse position. Like, I don't care what a load's paying. If it's putting you in a bad weather situation, that could end up costing you more than what, you know, the load was. So I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying on some of those loads where you're just like, well, you know, maybe it's not paying enough, or, you know, whatever. You just need to start like really becoming hyper focused on these little things that maybe you weren't so in tune to before. You know, maybe instead of getting that truck washed, you know, every couple weeks, maybe stretch that out a little bit. But I really haven't seen a market tightening up on myself in terms of, you know, the way that I've been running, or when the trucks, or the way the trucks have been running. It's just I haven't had all them trucks running or humming at the same time together. So you know, that's something that we're going to be able to get over. But, you know, it is time to like really become professional about this. You know, I'm a, you know, believer in that business mindset, and kind of how that some of the negativity that you see can kind of fuck with you a little bit. You know, one bad apple spoils the bunch. Maybe if you're, you know, participating in a lot of this Facebook crap, it might be time to get away from that and cleanse your mind and have a more positive outlook in this, even though it may not be a 100% positive situation that you're going through. But I really don't have much more advice than that. You know, just put your head down and one step at a time, and you know, before you know it, you'll be through it, or we'll be through this, or you know, whatever. But one thing I will tell you is, I don't know this for sure, but I'm starting to get the feeling that if you aren't a good driver at Prime, and that's, you know, it could be attitude, it could be, you know, safety, it could be service, I think that those drivers are going to be taking more of a hit than the drivers that are the good drivers. I do think there's going to be some kind of a ranking that's going on. And if you're thinking about quitting, you know, might not be the time to really be playing around with that, because they are more than happy to show you the door right now. So that's really all that I have to kind of say on this. I think the biggest thing about this that I mentioned, maybe, you know, fuel being the biggest expense, you know, try to get that fuel mileage up. And as always, I've been preaching this. Ask anybody that's been on my truck. The one thing that I am like absolutely like fanatical about is hours of service. You know, not making little stupid mistakes like leaving myself on the drive line or on duty, you know, like really micromanaging that clock and making sure that I squeeze every little bit out of that clock as possible, making sure I don't waste as many hours with still while being in compliance. So just tighten it up, become a professional at this. You know, I've mentioned this in years, you know, maybe a couple of years ago. You know, there's people that are truckers that like trucking, and there's the people that look at this like a business. And the people that are out here that are doing it for the sightseeing and doing it for, you know, the enjoyment, those might be the ones that are going to be struggling the most, while the people that are just doing this to like doing this as a job, as an occupation, might be the ones that are going to come out of this a little bit ahead, because we don't need that enjoyment. You know, we don't need to feel like we're happy doing our job. We just realize that we just got to get the job done. Anyway, kind of rambling on right there, but you know, regardless of what is going on right now, I think that if you're at Prime, you're in one of the safest places that you could be. Take advantage of this and use this time to become serious about your job. Don't just get a load and just drive it out with no care in the world about how you're going to get it there, what your plan is, things like that. Always have a plan. That's another thing that I used to always preach with people that are on my truck. Okay, we're at the receiver. Now where? You know, always be thinking steps ahead. Enough about that, though. Hopefully I will drop this load off and pick up a load somewhere near here. That would be great. I'm really not trying to go up to Northern California, but sometimes it is what it is. I appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe. I'm out.